you are, Saber.
Welcome to the third episode of Cooking with Dak, with your host, Alan Dak, once again back for another episode. Give it up for him.
Thank you. You're too kind, guys. Man, that was a long walk. I think I got this Monster energy drink to help me recharge. Anyways, let's get this started. Today, we're gonna be making pizza. But first, I'd like to welcome a special guest, Xiystil. Ah! What are you doing in there?
You told me to wait in a room. I did not realize until the door locked behind me that was a freezer.
Oh. Well. As you can see, we're just chilling in there then. Anyways, today, we're gonna be making pizza.
That we are. Who was cooking again? I don't remember exactly.
Oh, well.
Cooking with Dax, right?
Yeah, I'm the one cooking, yeah.
I know how to make pizza. I've prepped a few ingredients already.
Ah, I see that.
I've already been working on a dough. But first, for the audience, when this episode comes out, there'll be a poll on screen, right? You vote for your topping.
Oh yeah, we got quite a few options here for toppings.
Oh, brilliant choice. You chose pineapple? Great option.
Oh boy.
That's not the oven. That's a stovetop. There's the oven.
Yeah.
Alright. We just stuff that in there for now. Oops, I missed. And then we forget it! Because if you like pineapple on your pizza, you don't deserve pizza. Ain't I right, cameraman?
Never been spoken.
Yeah. Well, for the first part, preparation's already been done. As we have the dough. Dax, if you could move all the ingredients over to this table, we already have a place set up. Oh, I see you brought your Monster energy drink. It's known to refuel you, you know.
Yep, it is.
Now, there are several ways to be making pizza. We'll be going with a basic thin crust. We've got the best ingredients imported from all over the galaxy. Farms of Dantooine. Some imported pieces from Albuquerque. Got some fresh tomatoes from Alderaan. Got everything. We aren't gonna use everything for sure.
Yeah. But hey, pizza. The whole point is having your options open, because you never know what you might be in the mood for.
Yes, exactly. First, I need to turn on the stove. And then we put it on, and see what the idea is, dear viewer, is that we want to fine meat. I mean, Dax, what do you think we're gonna put on? I'm sure we're not gonna put this ugly shit on it. Who fucking puts lettuce on their pizza?
Oh yeah, we don't need lettuce on our pizza, definitely not. I'm thinking, yeah, some nicely sliced beef, maybe, some tomatoes, make a nice sauce out of that, maybe you could put some peppers in as well, add a little zest to the topping. of course, some finely shredded cheese.
That wasn't good. Oh, that's not our problem.
Yeah. We focus on that later. So first,
Alright.
let's just get this dough shaped up.
Yeah, let me go grab the bowl. Back on Trandoshan, I was known to be a chef. Quite good. Trained by people. It pays to be a great cook for your clan. Before, you know, you move out, your own thing.
Yep. It was the same way back in my unit during the Republic.
There's the dough.
Alright. Now, let's get this sauce going.
Yes. Now, I'm gonna tell you a few tricks around the kitchen. One,
Yeah.
I have washed my hands, but you have not.
I'm wearing gloves.
You haven't cleaned your gloves. Take off your gloves and handle food properly.
Oh, of course.
I know cooking with Dax is all silly, but I actually want to share a recipe. Pizza's big. However, cooking food like this isn't. Especially at such high quality. It's all about the need to make sure it's tenderized on each side. You don't do this at home, but if you're able to, because I scale, I'm able to feel the heat on it. What I'm able to do is be able to determine that this pizza is doing, not the pizza itself, but this food is doing good. We'll just need to flip it in a minute. After that, we will grind it into Hamburg and choose what we do with it. Luckily, I brought a grinder with us. Wash your hands, Dax. Still.
Alright.
Fuck puts leeks on the ground. Oh, that was me.
Yeah. Yeah, this would also be a place where you wash your leeks. If you were gonna bother putting it on anything.
Well, the fire's turning red. That's unusual. That means you either have, I don't know, something laced in the fire, I don't know. Oh, that's even worse.
Maybe that explosion back there was a bit more important than we anticipated.
Alright, for the most part, it looks like, man, I don't like to say, our overcooking. So we'll just take it off there, turn that on.
Yeah.
Alright. Now that our food is a bit rare, I mean not rare, well done for my liking. Now we have to cut it. Now, for that, we are going to move it over here. I will demonstrate you with this butcher knife. You have to cut in 3 broad strokes. You want to separate it into 3 pieces, and from there you can feed it into a shredder. Alright, that. And just like that, we have 3 cut pieces. Take the rest of the scraps and put it to the side. Use it for something else. You've cooked it already, so it's already prepped. Now, some people like to grind their hamburg before they cook it. However, I don't. We could have just put the hamburg on the pizza and cooked it. Raw food in the kitchen's never good. Never liable to hope something else cooks. Not from my unit.
Yeah, it's
So,
definitely a good idea to cook your ingredients before you put them on.
From this, we need to grind them. Right over here. We aren't going to be grinding them, turns out, by the way.
So are we gonna be dicing them up then?
Yes. We'll be making, I assume, just hamburg on top of the pizza. That sound good?
Yeah, of course. Meat makes a great topping.
Alright. Now, I've cut it into pieces, now we just need to put it on. First,
Yeah, the sauce.
tomato. It's unnecessary. We have sauce already pre-made.
Yeah.
Luckily, we've cleaned the floors. But just in case, we're going to wash it.
Yeah.
We'll let that soak for a bit. However, for the most... As you can see, we have put a bit of sauce on it. You don't want to put too much. You need to put enough to make it so the dough... it's fine, I caught it. You need to make sure the dough is covered. Once the dough is covered and it has a thick layer where it's mostly not translucent, you can work in the cheese. Now, for the next part, I'm gonna be partially melting the cheese. Because this cheese is frozen. 1, never freeze cheese. That's something you should do.
Oh, yeah. Never a good
Well,
thing.
that's being done. This is done, so we'll let it dry for a sec. And now this is done. It literally only take a few seconds. You're gonna need to scrape along it and cut it into small strands. That and then a cheese grater. And when you're doing that, do it over the pizza so it all gets on top of it.
Oh, of course, I know how to use a cheese grater. Funny thing is, I'm actually not quite... I actually cannot remember for the life of me where we even kept this cheese in the freezer. I never even saw it.
This is imported. I bought it.
Oh.
I heard there was a
okay.
cheese crisis here.
Yeah, that's good. You probably don't want whatever cheese is left here. It's probably been here for a long time.
But isn't that what cheese is good for, to be aged? I know mold, but aged cheese?
Not when it's aged enough that turns dark green.
Oh, I saw that earlier. What's the story behind that? Well, wait, you do that? Tell a story?
Simple. Another friend of ours, Dreekle. He was the reason for the cheese crisis, because he kept hoarding the cheese and hiding it all over the place. And to this day, we still find just various hiding places, years later, with just these green petrified cheese wheels.
Alright, we should go check on our pineapple, though.
So far, no one who's tried to eat them has survived.
Yeah, there's the pineapple on the floor.
Yeah, the pineapple's looking pretty well done, if you ask me.
I mean, it's melted.
Yep.
Charred piece of shit.
Well, luckily, I get to show our viewers the next part of kitchen safety. Always keep a fire extinguisher around.
Well, you accidentally ruined a piece of idiot. You know,
Hey,
you
you
can
were
also
going ham with that fire extinguisher too.
Shush. Okay, so a few rules if you're ever gonna make. Go back to making. A few.
Of course.
Never mix your drugs you keep at home with your food. I know that's something I shouldn't ever have to say, but it happens.
Yeah, there's all
Because you
kinds
can put
out
glitter
there.
stim in your pizza does not mean you should. Death sticks, not a top. Spice, even for its name, isn't actually supposed to be used for spicing. And secondly, never mix your Bacta or your Colto or whatever other medical uses you have. You might think, oh, Bacta heals, so why don't eat it? You don't eat Bacta or Colto. It's good for the skin, it's not good for your insides.
Well, I don't think anyone's used Colto in quite a few years.
Colto's used in a lot of outer rim planets that don't have proper imports. It's the cheaper alternative. Otto City sells them for so fucking cheap, it's absurd. Also, fuck the Manon Council. I know I shouldn't be saying mean shit. I'm probably gonna get this banned on the Manon. They need to grow up. They have been using the same traditions, the same laws, the same barring people from their planet for years. What?
Yeah, well.
You hunt one Phyraxan shark. You've committed crimes against Selkath. You are barred from entering Otto City forever.
Oh yeah, the Selkath consider Phyraxan sharks like deities to them, pretty much.
Some those I know have actually been bad. This is a life lesson. I don't hunt on a Manon. Don't even visit the planet. There's nothing there except a floating city.
Yeah.
And unless you're like a Quarren or some other thing, you can't even live there.
But hey, good to know that Manon at least has something to keep it afloat.
Alright, looks like the cheese is done. Now. Alright, with this, you're able to lay it on the pizza. One thing I like to do is grab that pepper and place it on the pizza. Put it neatly organized. Put it like enough so it balances out the pizza. I've got some cut onion as well.
Alright.
Good, good. I'll do the same with this one. Now we have to do we want to make our pizza spicy in any?
Yeah, sure. Like I said, a little zest is always good.
We won't be using this, and that's too much spice. However, we will be adding a bit of spice by using a stronger onion. A bit of stronger taste, and I also can mix some spices into the sauce, which I already did. So, I'm glad you agreed, otherwise the pizza would have been a little bit hot. They aren't very hot, though.
Yeah.
Alright.
Although it all depends on where you're from in the end.
There's the second layer.
Yep.
And that's the pizza. It's starting to look nicer.
Yeah.
Now,
Pretty good at this point.
don't eat it. Cook the pizza. You could, the ingredients ahead, so you could have. However, it's not the best choice.
Well, you still gotta
Alright.
cook the dough.
Yes. This will take 15 minutes. Actually, since these are high-powered ovens, I estimate 6 minutes.
Yep, high-powered and thorough. Don't try this at home with a normal oven, by the way. If you set something to high and cook it for half the time, you're just gonna burn it. You need specialized ovens for stuff like this.
Yes, no, I know, but follow me. Follow me, cameraman. The reason we have such high-powered oven. This is a cafeteria. We cook food fast and efficiently. Now, before you arrived, Dax, I had already cooked 12 others of those pizzas. They will be distributed to the troopers here and the civilians in Dermonel. Mostly the civilians, and there's like security. But yeah. The pizza will be good. Let's go back in. I'll grab a chair. We'll sit down and have a chat.
Yeah.
Remember, put all your utensils in the sink, Dax.
Of course.
Here's 2 chairs.
Alright.
Now, while the pizza cooks, we can talk. You got any topics to discuss?
Well, I think we'd all like to hear a bit more about, your background in the chef business. What was
It's
your
not
old
much
clan
to say.
like?
I can't be talking about people. I'm sorry, but Trandoshan Cook is not one.
Oh,
We all-
that's perfectly alright.
Scored all of our duty to serve. After death, we serve with them eternally. That's at least an interpretation. There are many different people that believe different things. Me personally, I'm content. Life has been good. I'm like
Yeah, different
84 or
beliefs.
something now. The
Oh,
life
yeah.
expectancy for a Trandoshan is 60.
Oh, man. The year you've been taking really good care of yourself, or you're just really lucky?
I cook everything myself. That's probably a reason. A lot of these big companies and stuff, they make you buy stuff that have byproducts and stuff.
Oh, yeah. Preservatives, the stuff they use on a lot of planets is not regulated in the slightest, so you'll find some pretty shady stuff in the ingredients.
Yeah, but I'm pretty content in my life. I've done everything I need. Al, I had to down a Rancor once and slay it. That was my goal in life. Defeat a Mother Rancor. Of course,
Mother
after the
Rancor?
kids were alive. But they're still fierce, big, and powerful after that.
Yeah. Yeah, a Rancor at any size is not something to be trifled with.
That was a hellish story, though, that one. I've got its skull somewhere sitting around. That was one of my favorite hunts. I was in the depths of Kashyyyk, doing some less than legal hunting. Who cares at this point? I'm old. I won't survive long. I was in the deep woods, or whatever the hell the Kashyyyk Wookiees call them.
The Shadowlands.
Shadowlands, yes. A big Wookiee party was going down a deal, and I trailed with them. I watched. I don't think Wookiees are fair game. They are fierce and things. However, I never really enjoyed hunting them. And that might be because I was soft. I friended some of them time. Todd, when the Trandoshans and the Wookiees are always fighting each other. Yeah, it's a bit hard. But
Yeah, well, believe it or not,
the hunting party got wiped out and was absolutely obliterated, shredded, torn from limb from limb at this Rancor that must have been 40 to 50 feet high. Its claws could rip a man in half, could destroy one of the it could cause a dent in those big trees in Kashyyyk.
Damn, sounds pretty tough.
Yes, very tough. We can let that. Okay, let me. This will help it not cook us. Don't burn. We'll have time to chat. So, this big hunting party was obliterated. Luckily, I was carrying some nice weapons, unlike them. Bowcasters are not to be underestimated, I will say. However, I had smart. The party ran right at it. They were ambushed. I had the luxury of being able to watch it. It was guarding an empty nest. You know what I did? I set up some proximity charges around the nest, which lured it back. And one of my prouder moments, I was able to nail spring trap, basically. I placed down some rope and everything else it triggered. And one of those big logs of one of the fallen trees hit it and knocked it out. Big fight though, they woke up after a bit. But by then it was too late. I had already planted charges on its head. It stunned it with a flashbang, and then when it roared, I threw it down its mouth.
Right in the gullet.
That's how I lost my eye, though. Shit. Boy. You know,
Ooh.
it's gonna regenerate and stuff. Doesn't help when one of your limbs gets ripped off, or when you get stabbed in the eye afterwards. Can't regenerate everything. I decided then I wouldn't be hunting grand creatures throughout the galaxy. Risky, too stupid. I became a cook. I became a wandering bounty hunter. Started hunting organics and humans again. I know, like, for a cookie show, this is pretty deep. Someone I want to share part of my life story with, you know.
Well, I appreciate it. I'm sure a lot of people like to hear this too. You definitely got an interesting life going.
I've actually written down all my recipes and a Hollywood tutorial for everything. So, if anything, like I keel over and die, or anything else, you know, you can come here. And I'll probably store it in one of the, like, the security office, whatever, in the drawer.
Alright.
I recorded a lot of my food here, so you have everything you need.
Alright, I'll keep that in mind. Thanks for looking out.
Well, now that we were talking about creatures, there is one species I want to talk.
Yeah?
A man named Pact. Infamous. You probably have heard of it.
Who was he again?
He was called the Butcherer for a reason. Never cross his path is what I will say. Look up it by later. I crossed paths with him once and he fought me over a prize. He loves wood. But yes, let's not talk about the gory details and stuff.
Yeah, that
I could talk about something else that's cool. In most cases, when you're hunting an animal, when you're hunting for food or for cooking, you don't want to be using a blaster, as it scorches it and ruins the food. You need to be using a slug thrower, preferably of a a smaller caliber. Smaller projectile means less damage to the hide, less damage to the meat. If you're a trained hunter, over time, you can just nail a head right between the eye. There are several things you don't want in food. Eyes, lungs, liver, any of that stuff. You don't want any of that stuff in your food. So it doesn't matter if you strike them in the eye. You just want to make sure their hide is good. Otherwise, you might screw yourself.
Yeah, perhaps. Like I said, it really depends on where you're from. I've seen some places that have some pretty weird delicacies.
Well, yes, but I'm talking for standard hunting. The rule of thumb is not to shoot the eyes. I mean, not shoot anywhere but the head. Another thing, never use anti-material against any sort of hunter, no matter how thick their armor is. If you slay it, it ruins their hide, their skull, any of your trophies. Everything is ruined. For example, say like a Rancor, shoot an anti-material round and pierce it through its skull. It's gonna be cracked up, it's gonna be shattered in some areas, it's gonna be dust in some, and it's just not a good trophy.
Oh yeah, definitely not.
Well, got any more questions? I mean, I've finished what I had to say.
I guess I wanted to ask you a bit more about the scorekeeper. Usually when people talk about the scorekeeper, they're talking about how, they're going on great hunts and, going after big marks, bounty hunts, that sort of thing, achieving stuff like that. But what I was wondering is, are there any other ways to get with a scorekeeper? Like, for example, you see people have different beliefs. Do you think that perhaps, someone could get on the scorekeeper's good side by doing something like cooking or fishing, something like that, if they just hone their craft?
No. The scorekeeper is all about Lori. And that's all I will say to an outsider. Go talk to, I don't know, Caliban. Go talk to him if you want answers. I'm not talking to outsiders about this personal details. You're not gonna, especially on film, we're not gonna be talking about inner circle and what the beliefs are.
Oh, alright, that's fine.
What else?
Well, you told me plenty of hunting stories. Got any good, cooking-related stories? Any special dishes you made, or special customers
Over
you've
the
dealt
years,
with?
everything blends together. That's the hard thing about cooking and stories. I mean, you can see happy smiles and you can feed people. You don't really get unique stories of unique recipes. Every recipe is unique, you know.
Of course.
So I can't really say I'd have one that'd stand out.
Yeah, true. Me, for example. Huh?
Go ahead.
Yeah, like me, for example, there is one story I got. Back during the Clone War, there was a point where I was stationed on Kashyyyk. I was pretty much the designated chef of my unit, as I always am, because I was one of the people that really knew how to cook. And I ended up learning an interesting steak recipe from the local Wookiees. Fortunately, I don't know Shirwook, so I had to have a protocol droid translate from their end to me. But thankfully, Wookiees understand basics, so we didn't have to translate both ends. It's really interesting the kinds of spices they use.
Yes. And the one thing about their hunting food and the steak they make, it's made out of special animals only on Kashyyyk. Meaning it has a very unique taste compared to other things.
Yeah.
This might sound weird, but have you ever had Kinrath?
Wrath.
Don't know what those are? They're like Kashyyyk. They're a nuisance species.
Ah.
They're venomous, tall, arachnids.
Oh. Yeah,
They make
thankfully.
excellent fried food. Minus the poison
cooking
glands.
bugs. Oh, poison glands. That explains why I've never dealt with them.
The Wookiees know how to make them.
Yeah.
Fry over a great fire. You know, usually the Kinrath's poison stingers are in their front and on their claws. It's hard to tell. Some are matriarchs. They are evolved versions. They're the leader of the pack. For some reason, some Kinrath change when they become a leader. Not sure. I never enjoyed fighting Kinrath because, I mean, it's one swipe when you don't have anti-venom and you're dead.
Oh, yeah.
It's not much like a cooking bug. They have meat in them, which is surprising, and they're big enough that they aren't like, you know, eating normal bugs.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I just generally avoided bugs myself because, well, like you said, there's venom to deal with in a lot of them.
Alright, I've got the pizza out.
Alright.
Put it over here. Cut it up, shall we? Well, cameraman. Put down one hand. Well, how about you both try it? You can give a rating. I did most of the prep work. You should be able to enjoy the labor.
Yeah. about the onion. It really adds everything together perfectly.
There's a bit more we can add to that, you know. We can put some garlic powder on it, onion, or some other powders on it to add a nice finish.
Ooh, garlic powder. Yeah, I think that would.
Put a little of a glaze on the crust. Garlic powder on it as well, make it stick. Now try. I just put some on your pizza. Now at home, if you ever, it's your opinion. It's not. None of this is required. You just need to make the pizza. Whatever you want.
Oh yeah, that's perfect. But yeah, like we said, pizza is pretty much whatever you want it to be. There's all sorts of options you could go for. Except pineapple. Not pineapple. Anything but that.
Correct. Well, that's how you make pizza. It's pretty basic, and it's one of my easiest recipes to make on the fly. Like I said, I've left my book here for you to use it. I don't think I like it.
It is a basic recipe, so that's why I'm glad I was able to bring a professional here to show us how to really make it pop compared to the usual. Thanks for coming by, Xiystil.
Yes, but I don't think I'll be cooking longer. I think I've cooked enough meals in my lifetime. I'm getting old. I don't have to make every meal. Or just get taken.
Shame in retiring.
Well, pleasure though.
Have a good one, Xiystil.
You too. Be seeing you soon.
Alright, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode. Oh. Tired old me forgetting. Yeah, we just got word back from the cafeteria. They rated the pizza 9 out of 10. Pretty good. I'm Alan Dack. And this was Cooking with Dax. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.